The worst way to run your business is based on the opinions or judgments of other detailers, specifically on the internet. Like, you have to be able to learn how to do something, and then from there, tweak it to fit your specific business process or whatever it is you need to do. Like, if everyone in your area is charging $200 for a detail, I'm keeping things super general. If everyone is charging $200 for a detail, that doesn't mean you can't charge $300 for a detail. There's no one telling you that there's this price limit, or like you have to be within these parameters of pricing just because everyone else is doing it. Like, there's so many factors that go into the pricing, to the services that you offer, to the customers that you attract, that every business, even if you're in the same area offering the same kind of services that have been in business for the same amount of time, can have drastically different outcomes. For instance, this truck here received a smoke odor removal and a wash and wax. Now, when we first started offering smoke odor removals, there wasn't many detailers that offered a proper smoke odor removal service. Like, we looked around, we saw, hey, what are the people charging? We didn't find anything. Like, there was not even that many. I don't think there was any detailers that we saw online, like Google and such, offering smoke odor removal services. So for us, we didn't have a specific, like, oh, most people are charging this, so let's charge that. We chose $500 as the price for our service. And since then, since the first smoke odor removal that we did, we've charged between $500 to $1,400. I think this one was like $450, and then it also received a wash and wax for $260, I believe. But like I said, it's not like we based our pricing off of some other detailer. We're like, okay, well, he charged this, so we'll charge that. No, like with this one, we went in it blind. There wasn't many things to go off of. So based on what we think is a good value, based on the what we're going to offer and what we're going to deliver to the customer, we thought, okay, $500 is a good starting point. And again, we charge up to $1,400 for a smoke odor removal. If you ask most detailers, they'd probably be like, whoa, that's way too expensive. Whoa, I can never get someone to pay that. But hey, every business is going to be different. And a quick message from our sponsor, Jobber. You may have seen me talk about them on this channel. I've now been using Jobber in my business for the last 5 years. We do everything from keeping track of the customer's information, booking out the schedule, sending appointment reminders, employees clocking in and out. We basically run our entire business through Jobber. I mean, I've been using them far before they became a sponsor of this channel. If you want to get a free 14-day trial plus a special discount, click the link down below and give it a try. It's been so many times where I've seen a detailer talk about, oh, my customers are so cheap, no one around here wants to pay a premium price, it's so difficult to grow around here, oh my God, I have the worst situation ever. Meanwhile, there's probably another detailer down the road that has great customers, that's charging a high price, that has a great time working with those customers, right? That's why I say, like, it doesn't matter if you're in the same area offering the same kind of service with the same kind. Each business is going to be different. So if everyone around you is struggling and this, that doesn't mean you have to go through that, right? Like, there's detailers down the road from me that are saying the same thing. Oh, no one wants to pay these prices. Oh, no one wants to pay $100 for a detail. Meanwhile, we have a $600 detail here in the shop. Like, there's no limit or box you have to stay in. Like, you can do what you want in your business if you know what you're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. It is important to have a baseline understanding of what's going on in your area, right? What does a detailer charge for interior detail or for paint correction or a ceramic coat? Like, it is smart to have that information. But that doesn't mean that, okay, every detailer does an interior detail and they also offer a free wash. Does that mean you have to offer a free wash? No, absolutely not. Maybe it works for them because they have to throw in something free because they have a hard time getting customers. And with you, if you have your marketing done right and you're getting leads and customers and you're getting high quality customers, you don't have to do the free wash. Maybe you can even increase your prices compared to everyone else. Like, it's good to know your area and what detailers are doing, but that doesn't mean you have to fit to that specific box of what they're doing. If you see a lot of detailers doing a 2-bucket wash method or any method on social media, that doesn't mean you have to do it either, right? Like, if you see everyone doing a 2-bucket wash method, do you have to do a 2-bucket wash method? No. And I remember way back in 2015, 2016, like, now it's pretty, rinseless washing is pretty known and a lot of people do it. But I remember when I'd post videos back then on YouTube in 2015, 2016, I'd always get a bunch of flack of like, wow, you're doing a rinseless, like aren't you scratching it? Why don't you do a 2-bucket wash method? Wow, you're a hack, that's the wrong way, that's the improper way. I can't believe you do that to your customers' vehicles. Like I would get those kind of comments back in 2015, 2016 because I was primarily doing rinseless washes. Now again, now it's more widely accepted and like it kind of makes more sense and people are, do it more on their vehicles or in their business. But again, back then it's like, it worked for me. I like doing it. If it what I was doing, I didn't carry a water tank or a pressure washer or well, I did carry a generator, but at times. But I didn't have that full setup to like go and rinse the vehicle and clean the wheels and fill up the wheel bucket and do a 2-bucket wash method and rinse it. Like I didn't have that. So my method that worked best for me was a rinseless wash method. And even though a lot of people disagreed with what I was doing, it's like, well, it works for me. I have a small little HHR panel. I can only carry so many things, and this is a great method, especially if the car's not even dirty, to do a rinseless wash. And up to this day, I still do primarily, well, not primarily, but we still do a lot of rinseless washes. Another good example is using the customer's power and water. So I, for at least 7 years, relied heavily, primarily on hooking up to the customer's power and water. Now, most of my details were at a home location, so it was no big deal. I did carry a generator when on the chance that I wasn't at the customer's home location, I still had power. But for the most part, like 80% of my details, they were at a customer's home location and I could hook up to their power and water. Now again, even to this day, so many comments of like, wow, I could never, use a customer's power and water and consider myself a professional mobile detailer. Wow, I can never go and that looks so unprofessional to hook up to the customer's power and water. Again, I did that for 7 years. Now we don't. Well, when we were primarily mobile, we didn't because eventually we got a bigger van and a bigger generator and a water tank and all that stuff. But for 7 years, out of my HHR panel, like I would heavily rely on using the customer's power and water. And I've never had an issue. I never had a customer tell me anything bad or negative or leave a bad review or ask for a discount because it wasn't a thing. But I got a lot of comments saying, wow, like how can you charge so much when you still use the customer's power and water? Wow, I can never consider myself a professional if I still have to hook up to the customer's power and water. Wow, I don't know if I should start my business because I don't want to hook up to the customer's power and water. Like so many comments over so many years getting that. Yet for 7 years straight, I did it because it worked well. I still was able to charge my full prices. I was still able to book out my schedule. I was still able to do everything that I wanted because it worked for me and what I did. And another big one is when you're a mobile detailer and you have to do a polish or ceramic coating outside. And as a general rule of thumb, like yes, if you can be indoors in a closed area to do your polish or ceramic coating, obviously that's gonna be way more ideal. It's not gonna have as much debris or dust, whatever, going around. You can control the environment a lot more. Like, of course, that would be a great option. But as a mobile detailer, when you're going to the customer's home location or their office where they work or wherever it is, a lot of times you're not gonna get that location to where you're gonna have that, right? Like, me and Lex have done plenty of correction and coatings outside in a driveway or in this big house with land and like there's no concrete, you're on dirt and like that's all they had, right? So it's like you have to work within the environment that you have. So like, are you gonna turn down a $1,200 job because you're like, oh, well, sorry, man, you don't have a garage, so I can't do it? No, you'll find a way because as a mobile detailer, like one, the customer wants you at their home location because they don't want to go to a shop. And then two, you're still going to deliver the results because you're just a professional and you know what to do and you're going to do that. Now, does that mean your process changes? I mean, of course, because I remember so many times where, maybe you wash one side of the vehicle first, flip the vehicle around and then wash the other half. Maybe you do go panel by panel because it's so hot. Maybe you skip the iron remover process because it instantly dries up because it's so hot outside. You will have to adjust your process based on what you're doing. But like so many comments of like, wow, like you're never supposed to coat outside. Like, wow, that's gonna turn out terrible. Wow, you should never do that. It's like, bruh, like my business is being a mobile detailer. Like I have no other option. Like I have to go to the customer's location and get the job done. Like you have to figure out what works for you and just keep on doing that. And your process over time will change. Now, of course, when you're first getting started, it makes sense to just follow someone on social media, learn how they do it or watch several videos and see what they do and then kind of mimic that at first because you need to learn, right? Like you don't know what to do. But But then over time, right, like as you start to get more experience and you get more work and you find yourself in different situations where you kind of have to try something new because the current process that you do wouldn't work where you are, try it out, right? And then once you do try it out and you're like, oh, actually, like, yeah, that kind of worked a bit better. Okay, we'll do it that way now. Like you learned how to do it by watching others, and then over time, depending on your area, your environment, your skills, your tools, your products, you figure out your own method, right? Like if you ask 10 different detailers how to detail a car, you'll get 10 different answers, right? So in the beginning, learn the baseline, get the experience, and over time, you'll naturally lend yourself to like try out new methods or new processes. And at some point, you'll figure out what works better for you. It might not work better for everyone, right? But for you, if it works, keep on doing that. And one thing you have to be clear on is, especially if you post content on social media, right, is that you're gonna have detailers disagree with you, right? Whether they're a weekend warrior, whether they're a full-on professional, you're gonna have detailers to disagree with you, and that's okay, right? Sure, some people are a bit more salty and they kind of make it their identity that they know how to detail correctly, sure. But you will have a lot of people disagree with you, right? And that's okay, like everyone's gonna find their own way. If you're doing this as a business, the most important thing is if your customers are happy, that's all that matters, right? Like if you start with the paint first and then clean the wheels and then everyone starts to talk about, no, that's the wrong way. If your customers are happy with the results, that's all that matters. If you use a DA over a rotary, like, oh, if the customer is happy with the results, that's all that matters. If you include a free wash or don't on your interior detail, you're not supposed to. If the customer is happy with the results, that's all that matters. I'm not saying one way is better than the other or you should do this or that. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying if the customer likes the results, right, and you're obviously being profitable and you're doing the right things as well, that's all that matters, because everything else is just an opinion. Again, if you ask 10 different detailers how to detail, you're gonna get 10 different answers. Some people are gonna be more vocal about how they disagree with you, but everyone's gonna have their own method. I'll end it right here. I'll talk to you on the next one.